What's up, folks? Welcome back to the Scarlet and Great podcast. However you are viewing, if you are streaming this as a podcast, please like us, subscribe, leave us a review on iTunes. We're going to start reading iTunes reviews, the good ones, on the show. So please leave us an iTunes.
Not the bad ones.
Well, maybe if they're entertaining enough.
If they're fun.
Yeah. I don't want to encourage people to start leaving bad ones just because they'll be funnier to read.
Geez, you know our friends, man. Oh God.
Yeah. Or just
Jeff, Ant, Trent talking to you guys. No, don't do it.
Yeah. There's ways to mess with us. Please don't do it that way.
That will actually hurt the show. Even though you want to hurt us, I get it, but take it out on us, not the show. Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I might pull some up. Sadly, right now, our old Scarlet, believe it or not, Corey, the unscripted Ohio feed is kind of hijacking us. So, because if you do Google iTunes podcast Scarlet and Great, it only brings up the unscripted Ohio feed now.
Gosh darn it!
Yeah. So, we'll try to do better. We'll try to do better at figuring out, I guess, a way to get around this or anything. But, anyways. However you're listening, thank you very much. Please subscribe to our channel here. And if you're on YouTube, thank you for viewing. Subscribe to us, like and subscribe on YouTube. And comment below on YouTube. Please comment what you thought of the game. We love the interaction. We will get back to you commenting about the game and your thoughts. Hoosier Hangover. That's the name of this show, the Hoosier Hangover. And we have a lot of mixed emotions flowing, a roller coaster of a game, if you will, a tale of two halves, etc., etc. Corey, I want to start with something that I think gets lost in the fray, and this is going to sound crazy, but there is a way in which Justin Fields showed massive improvements.
Wait, yeah, what? I agree with you. I know what you're going to say, and I agree with you. I do want to first, real quick, take a second to thank Shane for filling in for me on the live shows. I do look forward to get together with you guys on those on every Saturday, and I do look forward to doing it with Shane every now and again when Johnny can't make it. I was unavailable. I was obviously there, but I was unavailable to record that day. So I do appreciate Johnny and Shane working that out. And I see all you guys who make comments, all you guys who watch, God bless you. Thank you for watching and commenting. We'd love to see the interaction. You see me on Twitter at Scarlet Great CT. I engage all the time. I love engaging with fans. So that is an aspect of this new Scarlet and Great Empire that I really am going to enjoy going forward.
Yes, I think that was good timing there because I wasn't going to talk much about it, but it was really fun. For those you don't know, on YouTube and Twitter, we're doing pregame and postgame show reactions right before kickoff and right after. Actually, we prefer you guys, if you can, all you Twitter followers, if you can hop over on YouTube and watch us here and comment here. It helps us out more and doesn't cost you anything. So I bet if you can only get on Twitter, Facebook, I understand, but we appreciate you doing that for us. If you can, jumping over on YouTube. You know what? I was able to find it. I was able to find some Scarlet and Great reviews. And let me just give you this one. One of my favorite Buckeye podcasts, been an OG listener since day one. They bring the great analysis and funny commentary, a weekly ritual. Highly recommend.
Is that PJ?
I don't know. They don't give themselves away sometimes.
PJ is an OG listener, so
and there's some people on here that have been listening for years, and this is what's going to be really cool. I'm going hopefully the people that have been listening since day one, Corey and I are going to get to have a conversation with each of you one day, somehow, some way, on social media or whatever. We don't always know how to do that.
Maybe at the spring game if we have one.
We're still finding, isn't that cool, Corey? We're still finding some of you OG listeners like that. I'll get an email. Hey, I've been Tony from Clyde, Ohio. I had no idea. We never interact with
Megan's a great example of that. We had no idea she was listening for a long time, and she's awesome. God bless her. Thank you for listening. She's just an awesome person too, but very into fitness and whatnot. It's awesome to see her journeys on that.
Yes. Another one that I think is awesome, Buckeye Fangirl. Buckeye Football Fangirl on YouTube. She's like, I've been listening to you guys for a long time. And I was like, I had no idea you even existed.
Now. Check her out, Buckeye Football Fangirl.
Really cool YouTube production.
Absolutely. Really cool. Oh, yeah, she's great with her production. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we will, I wanted to read, there was one There was one review I really wanted to read. Oh, some clown named James T. Yoder says, Johnny and Corey are to Ohio State football podcast as Steph and KD were as teammates to the rest of the NBA. Ohio State football news, rumors, recruiting, and some witty humor. Much of it at the expense of Michigan football. I bet Ryan Day listens to the Scarlet and Great podcast on his way into the Woody Hayes Athletic Center.
Is that one of those reviews where we cry like we thought it was going to be mean? And
well, it was a 5-star. So look, it was a 5-star, just like me and you, 5-star athlete. And I don't know if Ryan Day listens.
We hate Michigan. We do not hate James T. Yoder. He's a good dude.
Yeah, James is awesome. Don't tell anybody I said that. I don't know if Ryan Day listens or not. Probably does. I think he
follows
does.
You on Twitter.
He does follow me on Twitter. I kind of think he doesn't ever get on Twitter. You know how? You know why I think that?
He doesn't DM you?
No. This is going to say, I tweet a lot of absolute nonsense just to have fun. I mean, complete garbage just to have fun, right? And Ryan Day doesn't know me unless he listens to this show, and he knows I'm just out to have fun. But I check every now and then to see if he's still following me, and he still is. And I'm like, there's no way he looks at his feed because he only follows, like, it's not a ton of people. I'm like, there's no way he looks at his feed and sees some of this garbage I say and still follows me.
His wife follows me, so I bet you he's like, look, I'll follow the one of them, you follow the other, and we'll call it a day. But you see Johnny segueing now. Oh, segue into the Fields conversation we were going to have.
We were going to have.
That I completely derailed.
No, I did it a little bit too. I'm sorry.
But after he threw his first pick yesterday, and I said bench Fields, you know how you're talking about tweeting garbage nonsense that you know is fake. I got an alarming number of people who thought I was serious about that. I don't mean like one or it wasn't the normal like one or two. You know, it was an alarming number of people. Like, are you? I had to do it twice. I had to retweet it twice. Like, are you people serious? I'm kidding. You think I want to bench Justin? What's wrong with you? And because I'm trying to mock the behavior of some fans that like one bad play, get rid of them.
You're just having fun. Like,
exactly.
I usually get the ones that take me too seriously, but you got it that time.
Oh,
you really did.
And Kyle Lamb called me and says, I was laughing my butt off seeing the crap you were getting for that. I'm like, it's just like, what? I thought it was obvious. I mean, it's not something like I want to see Steel Chambers where you can kind of be like, maybe it's true that somebody, you know, no, it's like Fields and then who, you know?
It's like when the reporter asked Bill Belichick, will the quarterback position be evaluated next week?
And then he just, oh gosh. Yeah. But you were talking about what he's improved in, Sean. You were the one who saw this, and you've been harping on it for years with him, actually. So what did you see, Johnny, that you thought, okay, I agree with you. I know what you're going to say. I agree with you, but I'm going to say what you go ahead and explain to the audience what you saw that you thought was a massive improvement, even in what was probably his worst game as a Buckeye.
Yeah, even though there was the interceptions and the bad decision making at times, which I don't think is maybe a new thing, because I just think it's a new amount of pressure that he was under, and that's kind of it's something he's had to work on. We've just hidden it because we've put him in good situations. But the good things that he's starting to do, avoiding 2 games ago, he started avoiding the rush with his legs a little bit, just sidestepping, stepping up in the pocket and such. Now he's added this element. He didn't do it every time this game, but most of the time, where he avoids the rush with his legs and then decides, you know what, a down the field pass just ain't going to happen on this play. He finally took enough sacks and forced enough interceptions where he said, ooh, there's some pressure. I sidestepped it. I looked back downfield again. There's still nothing. Okay, I've done my due diligence. I've done my due diligence to try to make this a pass play. Tuck it and run, and then slide and get down. It was wonderful. He almost had a touchdown on a play that I thought, well, maybe you can scamper out and get 6 yards. And he got a big gain. One, he actually went to the naked side of the field and did score a touchdown, dunked all over somebody. It was great to watch. I'm like, that's like the easy play that you can make because you're so athletic. Pull it down, move, avoid the rush, eyes downfield once more, still nothing, tuck it, go.
Isn't it crazy? There's elements of JT Barrett we wish he had.
No, I don't wish he had any.
Really? You don't
I
wish
wish he was as good as he is at the zone read.
No, it's not. Well, but I mean, JT was good at the 3rd and 16. He'd scramble and pick it up. That's one thing he could do pretty regularly. And again, I go to JT because he's one of the most much maligned good quarterbacks in Ohio State history. But I agree with you. Seeing that yesterday, I don't know how many times, Johnny, we've watched Justin Fields, and he is spectacular. He does everything well, except for a couple of things. And we run a lot of long developing plays, obviously. And we're just like, it's not there. Go. Just go. Get what you can. Why are you still in the pocket? Why? Go.
You use all the God-given athletic ability in the world to take a 6-yard sack.
It's frustrating.
And if you were as stiff as a board, guess what would happen? A 6-yard sack. So you know what I mean?
Your athleticism is no longer a factor.
Exactly. You moved around just to get tackled in a different spot.
Exactly right. And it's been a source of frustration watching this guy who's an amazing coach. Now, look, with Dwayne, I kind of got it. He ain't moving. He's a board. I get it. Justin, it's like, dude, you keep telling me you're not him, but the media keeps telling me he's the fastest player on the team, which, judging by our secondary, he might be. But that being said, it's kind of like, that's nice, but if you're not going to use it, that movie, A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where the guy says, "I'm never going to be was it Jekyll and Hyde? I'm never going to be that guy again." Well, what use are you then? It's just like, okay, we need you to become the monster. Well, I'm never doing that again. Well, then you're useless. Justin's not useless, obviously, but if you're not going to use that as a weapon, your feet as a weapon, then what's the point of being the fastest guy on the team? I applaud the fact he's a throw first quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I applaud that. Yes. I want to throw first quarterback, but I want a guy like an Aaron Rodgers who can use his feet when he needs to.
That's why I was very careful to say, okay, you've avoided the rush. Eyes still downfield once more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be pressure, tuck, and go.
Yeah.
Pressure,
one read, go.
Move,
no,
yeah. Pressure, move, look again. Okay, then tuck and go. You know what I mean? Which it's, and when he gets even better, then he can maybe readjust and look downfield a third time.
Yeah.
So I think, again, we saw the bad stuff. Obviously, I don't know if we need to go in a lot of detail. Do we?
Well, I just want the 2 interceptions he threw, second two. The first one is one of those things that happens. You miss the safety. He steps in front of it. Got it. Whatever. It's something that happens to everybody. The next 2 are crap you learn not to do in high school.
Yes, exactly.
That shocked me. Especially that third one. The second one was still bad, but that third one, what are you doing? You're throwing it across your body up in the air as you're going down. Brett Favre would say not to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was too tempting because Julian Fleming was really open on that one. And he's thinking, even if I'm getting pulled down, this is a throw I can make. The thing is, he threw it too far. Just like the one he missed 4th and 1 wide open to, or was it Farrell in the flat or Ruck? Yeah. He was getting pulled down. I get it, but he threw it too high. He's got that thing where the ball hops out of his hand. Remember last year when every catch the receivers were making, that was like at the height of their catch point. We're like, hey, man, you can bring it down 6 inches, right? You don't have to make them extend that much.
The funny part is in practice, they were saying he threw it lower than Haskins did. I'm like, I'm not so sure about that.
But yeah, that would be interesting to see. Maybe
those 2 were. I mean, look, I wasn't mad at Fields. I can put up with some of his stuff where he takes a sack and put up with that. It is what it is. He needs to get better at it. But those 2 passes literally made me tweet out, maybe I wasn't wrong about benching him. You never know I was kidding, because I mean, I'm clearly still kidding, but at the same time, come on, guys. Again, you're in Pee Wee football. If you do that, you get benched. That's ridiculous. I mean, Ryan Day is like, I'm a QB guru and my QB's doing this.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
I did tweet out, and I didn't get much. Nobody messed with me very much. Maybe they were all messing with you. It was when he threw that first ball where he either didn't see the safety or he just didn't tuck the throw away from the safety enough. I said,
I think
Jack
too
Miller,
much of a crowd anyway. There's a lot of zone there.
He said, I said, Jack Miller warming up on the sideline. Like, it wasn't me saying that he should get benched. I was like, I'll take it. Just say, like, I'm a reporter or something, and I'm there and I see it happening. But, besides the bad stuff that we just hope we don't see again, there was some progression and some things to be made. And quickly, a silver lining here is that the run game, I think we found a run.
Alive.
Yeah, I think we found running back one, and I think we found the run game in general.
Yeah, I yesterday Teague obviously had his best game of as a Buckeye. It's that simple. Because he did it against starters, he did it against a good defense, and he did it when we needed it. It wasn't, we're up 42-7, and he comes in and runs for 130 yards because they were playing a third string defense and they're gassed anyway. He was hitting the hole fast, and this is what I love more than anything. He's figuring out who he is.
Yes.
And he's barreling people.
Yards after contact, man.
153 out of the 169 yards were after contact. According to Pro Football Focus.
That is amazing.
And that's who he is. I mean, our dude Pop Copy, I don't know his real name, I apologize, but he put out a GIF that was perfect. The tank just running straight down and running over everything. This is how he jukes people, It's like it's perfect because that's who he is, and that's fine. That's what I want from T. I don't need you to be J.K. Dobbins. You're not J.K. Dobbins. And that's fine. Be Master Teague. Do what you do best. Plow people. And
more Beanie Wells, less JK.
Yeah, it's who you are, brother. And look, man, I love you as a person. You went bald, and now you're more aerodynamic, I guess. So that's awesome. But he's reverse Samson from Samson Delilah. Johnny knows that story, obviously. But I just love the fact that he was just like, you know what? I can shift a little bit, maybe create a different angle for the defender coming straight up at me. But this is who I am. I'm not going to juke anybody else's shoes.
Yeah, and there are a few times that little spin move in the backfield where he's turning a loss into a gain. He's figuring out how he can be elusive in his limited way. There's, I think, twice now he's made somebody miss with a spin move in the backfield. Kind of, again, that Beanie Wells, slower develop. It's not a Braxton Miller type of quick twitch hit, but he's finding his, like you say, finding himself. Most of the time, it's just changing his hips or something so arm tackle misses because of his power. And when he can, but it's not much dancing, right? Not much dancing. So we have a run game now. I don't think it's going to be 2019. Many things won't be. If he can run 6.5 a carry, and Sermon can come in and relief and run 6.7 a carry, run game's gonna be fine.
I will say, I hope it's not as a result of them just selling out to stop the pass, and that's why it was open. But it's a positive and negative. It's like you want to be able to run anytime you want, but if teams are going to sell it to stop Justin Fields in our receiving, at least we know the run game can be there. And I will give we've been crapping on Harry Miller. He looked a lot better in the run game yesterday.
Yeah. I think, actually, I don't know how much, because it's not like Indiana was just lining up with 3 down linemen and playing dime. I do think what did improve was, A, the blocking, but B, the perimeter blocking.
Yeah, the perimeter blocking, definitely. We saw it in the bubble screen later in the game. Perimeter blocking was much better.
We ran a bubble.
You notice they put Ruckert out there to take care of it.
And we ran a perimeter run to Teague that went for a touchdown where Olave was blocking on the perimeter very well. So the perimeter blocking is getting better, so we can see that, the stuff we didn't do well, screens and such, hopefully leak into the future.
They did throw a screen at Sermon yesterday. They did attempt it and they got a first down. I got to say, Sermon looked better too. I mean, I'm not saying he's RB1, but people need to. I don't know why people were still crapping on me. He averaged almost 7 yards a carry. It's like, guys, calm down a little bit. I mean, I don't know what you want from a guy with 9 carries, but
I think they kept that. It's still in some people's mind that he was just going to be this 1,300-yard back.
Yeah, he has not lived up to expectations.
But I think that's an unfair expectation. Looking back, hindsight, and knowing what I know now, and looking at the film, I don't think he was ever going to be a 1,300-yard back. Brand new ACL, bionic ACL, whatever.
You think he'd be better if he had bionic?
Yeah, you would think so.
You remember Batman's knee in the 3rd Batman movie? How that magically got better with a brace?
Yeah.
He could kick through a brick wall when he put the brace on. Why don't we give that technology to Trey Sermon?
Maybe that could get him 1,300 yards. Maybe. Okay. All right. So we got to talk about the bad, and the bad was pretty bad, and I think it's almost isolated. I'm not going to say defense. I'm not going to say second half defense. I think I'm just going to say second half pass defense. Is that fair?
Yeah, the run defense was on point. They had -5 yards or whatever it was. And,
I mean, this was an awful running team anyway,
mm-hmm.
but you made them just as bad or even worse. So that's good. You did
the
what
defensive line held their own on the run.
Yep.
Absolutely. And by the way, we're going to really miss Baron Browning and Pete Werner when they're gone.
Yeah.
People keep talking trash about them, and I'm like, you guys don't get it. I'm sorry. These are good players.
And speed. It's not just I don't care if it's Ohio State, not Ohio State. You don't get linebackers that fast on the field for that.
People still think Pete Werner's slow. I don't get it, but whatever.
That's why he played corner in high school, because he was slow.
And he was a track star.
Yeah. But so look, in the first half, the pass defense wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. They contained. They gave up one big play.
Two big plays.
Two big plays.
And one was because we had a backup linebacker who just,
kind of
off of his own.
Yeah.
I thought it was Browning at first, and everybody corrected me it was Mitchell. I was like, oh, is Mitchell?
Mitchell that ran to the flat and stayed in the flat?
Yeah, and he just let the receiver go. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And then, I think there was one other big pass play where
Hooker bit, and Banks, to his credit, saved a touchdown, even though they ended up scoring anyway, but he saved that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Banks had got burned at first. I was like, how did you get burnt like that? And apparently Hooker just bit up, and it was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think he was playing maybe an undercoverage, expecting help. Maybe
he gets a little too aggressive. Yeah.
Maybe he should have been in phase the whole time. I don't know. I'd have to know.
If you're the single high, why are you biting that much?
Yeah, no, I mean with Banks. Maybe Banks was supposed to stay in phase. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
only the coaches know this. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I think everybody, even don't have to be a coach to know, is that Hooker was wrong.
And Hooker did not have a good day.
No,
that's a fact. I mean, he made Proctor's Clemson game look good.
Yes. So we get into the second half, and we know we're not great in the secondary, and Indiana peeled back the layer a little bit to show, hey, there's some stuff we can do to you. But then they went to exactly what we said they might go to. The 50-50 ball down the sideline over and over and over. And it worked. And it was painful to watch. And that, I mean, I will say it's an inexcusable half of football for Ohio State. It's kind of weird that our corner actually had a pick six in that half. But that's just like,
I was so happy for Shaun, and then he gives up a touchdown. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah. It's like washed away after like the rest of it happened, though.
Well, I was talking to Lisa, who's Buckeye football fangirl we just talked about earlier, and she asked me before the game, "Do you think we're going to have our corners are going to have trouble with the receivers?" And I said, absolutely, there's going to be plays made. It's just not. It's just who we are at this point, and it's just kind of like, all right, you knew it was going to happen. You didn't know how bad it would get. And Johnny, what's more frustrating to me is our corners are often in position, and they're just not making the freaking play.
Look like they're unable to. They don't know how.
We had a listener comment to me. I think he said he thinks he knows what Shaun's problem is, and I actually agree with this. Shaun can cover anybody. I'm convinced of that. He is absolutely always on his guy. He's getting out-muscled by everybody, though.
Sometimes. But sometimes he can't even, like the other Fryfogle, they threw a back shoulder down the sideline. Shaun just fell down because he was leaning on the receiver, and he's like, my job is to run with the receiver down the field. Now, once the ball's in the air, I've not been taught, or I don't know how or whatever, to turn and make any play. He runs with the receiver the whole time, facing the receiver. And then when it comes to making a play on the ball, like you saw earlier in the year, he was just kind of getting mossed. Like you said, he wasn't strong enough. But this game, he's not even making a play on the ball. It's just, I'm there. And I don't know, obviously, what they say, you're on defense for a reason. You don't have the ball skills of a receiver. We don't. But to not even be able to understand when to turn your head, jump up, and swat, right? Like act like is it not taught? That's it's just odd. No pass. Have we had one pass defended down the sideline, defensive back turning, looking back, and swatting the ball down at the catch point? Has that happened?
Not often. Baron Browning did it once.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Maybe he needs to teach some technique.
I'm actually willing to put Browning at the single high at this point. I just to see what he can do. because we don't have very many options there. We're going to get into that a little bit too, because look, I don't know what's going on with specifically with the corners. I think they're on their guys. They're just not making plays, and that's the frustrating part. It's like Kendall Sheffield all over the place, all over again. But I mean, and I will say we could talk about the schemes if we want, what's going on, because Hooker's a liability right now. It just is what it is. But again, there's a couple things I want to talk about with Kerry Coombs, because the people right now are on him, and it's not unjustified. It's just that I think people are not taking context taking things into context. I don't know how, we're used to Ohio State just reloading. It's like, our next batch of corners is right here. We're good to go. Now, what I'm frustrated about is like, guys, I'm not claiming Kerry's been great, because he hasn't. I still give the guy some slack. It's his fourth game as a defensive play caller. This is a weird year. This is not a normal offseason. We didn't get a spring. We didn't get summer. We didn't get he's had like 60 practices, but it's at the same time, it's like you had a season that was on, then it was off, then it was on again. And you just start to think, okay, well, these guys aren't getting a lot of reps. They're inexperienced. And he didn't get any crappy teams to kind of work out the kinks with. I mean, you went straight into Big Ten opponents. And I know people look at that and they say excuses. It's not an excuse. It's just the reality. It's a completely different makeup from how you normally prepare your football team. And I also look at it as like there's also another factor to this with Kerry Coombs. Jeff Hafley's great. I think he's better than Kerry. I think Hafley's a stud. We said it from the first press conference. This dude is a stud of a coach. It's not that I think that it's not that I think Kerry's on his level, because I don't. But at the same time, he walked into a situation with an experienced Chase Young, an experienced Jeff Okudah, an experienced Damon Arnett, an experienced Shaun Wade in the slot, Jordan Fuller, an experienced Jordan Fuller, that experienced Malik Harrison. That is a lot of talent to walk into that it's all ready to go. Kerry Coombs walks in. He has nobody at single high. Nobody. Because everybody's saying he changed up what Jeff Hafley did. No, not really. A few things, yes, but not. He's might be making it a little too difficult. He might be, and that's on him if he is. But we're still playing the single high, and some cover 3 zone concepts and things like that. But Shaun Wade had never played outside corner. Saban Banks has never gotten real meaningful time. I mean, he got a little bit last year, but he's never been a starter, obviously. Marcus Williamson is the third corner. He's been passed over a few times. We lost out on Clark Phillips. We lost out on Jordan Battle. 2018, we didn't even recruit a single corner. Then what happens is Amir Reep, and I'm not going to say Jocelyn Went because he should be on the field anyway, but Amir Reep gets accused of sexual assault, gets kicked off the team, rightfully so. So he's losing out on a lot of time. Then Cam Brown goes down with an injury, a season-ending injury. So you're stuck with these 3 corners, basically. Tyreek Johnson, who's never shown anything. And I'm not trying to rip on Tyreek. It just is what it is. And then, of course, linebackers, I say he's probably still pretty good. I'm not going to say – Malik Harrison's a loss, but Baron Browning's been really good. And I'm not going to sit here and compare the loss there. But then we don't – on top of it, we don't have the pass rush even close to what it was last year. Even close. We don't – this is the first time since 2013 we haven't had a Bosa or a Young. We don't have – and people kept telling me Zach Harrison's the next Chase Young. Maybe someday, but he sure isn't right now. Not even by a long shot. I'm not – excusing Kerry Coombs of some of the defensive play. I'm not saying he's been great. It's just that his cast is bad. I think he's been bad too on a lot of. There's a lot of things I don't understand with it, but I'm going to cut him some slack based on all the conditions I just listed.
Okay. See. Oh shoot! I just disconnected myself. Sorry about that. Corey gave me a conniption here. I'm ripping cords out. Yeah, see what you just said. What you just said is what I think. Except you said. I'm not going to make excuses for Kerry Coombs. Then you made about 200 excuses.
Those aren't excuses. That's reality. That's not an excuse.
That everybody's got a reality.
Everybody's got a reality. That's why sometimes the reality sets in and you don't play as well. That's the thing. What's the reality why I'm not in the NBA? Because I didn't work at it. Because I'm not very athletic. Because I'm 6'1". It's like that's why these are realities. This isn't an excuse. It's just a reality.
No, hold on. Look, has Kerry Coombs been good or not?
I don't know for sure. I don't think he has been that good, but I don't know.
Okay,
for sure.
That's it. Then that's it. That's all I feel.
No, well then I'm sorry, but when people are talking about firing him already.
No. I'm not people. You're talking to me now.
I'm talking to you now instead of our audience. Okay.
Look, this isn't the correct Twitter podcast because, gosh, we'd be here for years.
Well, hey, the people who listen to us are on Twitter. I mean, I
understand, but I agree with what you said. The bar was never to be 2019 defense, and some people probably might set that bar, and that's ridiculous.
I never think that bar was very high.
That's silly.
I know. I agree.
I didn't expect Kerry Coombs to come in and make it the #1 defense in the country. I expect him to maybe make it the 20th best defense in the country. But his secondary is, I'm almost about to call them objectively bad. And that's his primary position that's coached. These guys look lost. Those are his guys. They're not Damon, or they're not Jeff Okuda's and all that. I get that. But they still should be better than what they are. And the scheme, everything you said is true. But I just say, that's all understood. Everybody dealt with no spring. There's no reason Oklahoma should have a better pass defense, that Kentucky should have a better pass defense than Ohio State.
Actually, I would agree they should have, because I say that the thing about Jeff Hafley isn't even that he's just better than Kerry Coombs. It's the continuity of having a crazy year like this past year would have helped tremendously.
But didn't Kentucky and Oklahoma and all those guys have a crazy year too?
They had continuity though.
How so?
How did
you mean the same?
Did they change defensive coordinators or play callers?
No, I understand that, but you don't hire a guy for $1 million and come in and say, "Hey, I expect you to take some steps."
The expectations are there. I agree, but again, I'm trying to lay down a foundation of, guys, calm down a little bit. There's a lot of things here that are starting to bite us in the butt beyond Kerry Coombs maybe not doing his job correct.
It's not all Kerry. It's not all Kerry. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is a piece of it is Kerry, and it deserves to be talked about. That's why I'm not defending him. That's why I'm not going to defend him. It's like someone said, "Hey, I went out and shot somebody, but I had a bad childhood." I get it. You still shot somebody.
That ain't a good comparison.
No, what I'm saying is someone still is culpable. And Kerry
What if you shot somebody in self-defense? I mean, that's something.
No. Because what you just tried to say is what Kerry is doing in self-defense, aka justified. You earlier said he's not been doing a great job.
I agree that. I'm trying to lay the foundation for maybe some of the things contributing to not doing a good job. Sometimes you're stuck with what you got.
That's what I'm saying. The bar is he has what he has, so maybe they should just be a top 25 defense.
Maybe.
Given what he has. Not a terrible defense, not a terrible pass defense, not, Whop, Philyor, or Michael Penix having his best day of the year, not Sean Clifford having almost his best day of the year, not that we allow now about 120% of opponent averages in the passing game. We're Ohio State. Can we at least hold teams to what we, even with having no Jeff Okuda, even with having no Damon Arnett, which I think Damon Arnett, Jeff Hafley, Damon Arnett is something. He didn't have continuity either. He came straight in and turned Damon Arnett into a nice player.
I think Arnett was a nice player. He'd only allowed 1 touchdown his entire career.
He was. I thought he was a terrible player in 2000.
I disagree. And you know what the funny part is? Even before I knew Hafley was coaching, I was telling people Arnett's about to have a really good year because I knew he was talented enough. I knew he was good enough.
Well, I didn't see it until Hafley was there. But anyway, he didn't have these guys. So, yes, the defense should take a step back, but it shouldn't step back this much. He is a piece of it. That is all I'm saying. All that other stuff is understood.
No, you call it excuses. I don't call them excuses. I call that reality. I mean, I agree he's a piece of it. See, you and I are not disagreeing. Yeah,
no. The reality is he wasn't supposed to be here. He was here. Then all those pieces that you call, those are reality. So no more excuses. What's taking Kerry here from here?
I don't know how to quantify those levels you're putting up on the screen, but at the same time,
all that the 20 things you said.
What I want to know is why the defense was solid the first half, and then the second half it was complete dog crap.
Maybe Kerry Coombs.
That's on. No, I could sit there and objectively say Kerry did not adjust or something went wrong. But also look at the last touchdown. Okay, people were screaming about Kerry Coombs on that last touchdown that Shaun Wade gave up. Shaun Wade is objectively in position. You can't blame Kerry Coombs for that, and then Shaun just not able to make a play.
What if he never taught him how to make the play?
Really? So Jeff Hafley didn't teach him well enough when he was here? I mean, it's like, what do you mean you've never taught him how to make a play?
Why does he look like he's regressed so much?
I think I don't know if he's regressed as much as he's on the outside for the first time, and he's just not making the play he's there. The coverage is fine. He's there.
Plays that he seemed to make last year, though.
I don't know if he made those plays last year. He was covering a different position,
but I think he was able to turn and find the ball better last year.
Maybe. I'd have to look at it, but he didn't. How many picks did he have last year? How many not pass defense did he have last year? I don't know.
I think he did a lot better. He locked people up, and I don't understand.
He's also going against the number 3 receiver in that last year a lot of times.
Yeah, sometimes. So I think there is carryover, but to say like, well, there seems to be a regression, or there at least seems to be the secondary that's not at Ohio State level, even first-year starter level, and Kerry Coombs got nothing to do with it. I
didn't say that.
No, but then what are you saying? Does he have something to do with it or not?
Of course I did, but you excused everything. I mean, no, you didn't excuse it, but you just dropped everything off the cliff. I'm like, no, I'm just listing that as part of the reality.
I'm isolating the incidents. The corners look like...
You can't isolate it, though. You can't.
No. Yes. Listen. This is what I'm saying. These corners not looking like they're very well coached and well developed at times. That is what I'm saying. That in by itself. I understand they're not going to be world beaters, but to look like they're objectively not well coached at times.
I don't know that they are or aren't. That's the issue. I'm not qualified to say they are or aren't.
I'm just saying they don't look like it. But then why are you saying that you don't think maybe Kerry's done a very good job?
There's a lot of things I disagree with Kerry. First of all, laying on receivers mixing up the coverage is a little too much. It's driving me nuts. I mean, I think he's trying to be too smart for his own good. I do think that's where Hafley's better. He simplified things a little bit better. But I also think what helped Hafley tremendously was having a freaking hulk of a defensive end that could put pressure on a quarterback at any given time. Not only did put pressure on a quarterback at any given time, but sometimes had to alter protections.
Right.
Just alter offenses completely because they had to account for him. We do not have that. And then, look, I like John Cooper. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's a great leader. I think he's actually turning into a solid player this year.
He really is.
But that's our best defensive end right now. If I told you that last year, if I said going into this year, John Cooper was going to be our best pass rusher, what would you be telling me? You'd be a little worried, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I will say this. Look, I'll just say apples to apples. I think you give Jeff Hafley the exact same team, exact same conditions. And I think even you would agree this is a better defense.
Oh, I agree. But I also say the continuity would help there as well.
It would help. Okay, but take Jeff Hafley, I don't know, erase
2019, put him on this year or this year.
That Men in Black thing where you flashy thing.
The whole defense.
Yeah, your whole life. He's like, why am I in Ohio? Why am I Ohio, not San Francisco anymore? Gee, this weather's awful.
He wouldn't remember he was in San Francisco. He just tell me he's born in Ohio.
He's like, why am I in this football practice facility? I don't know, but you seem to really know what you're doing. So keep telling us.
Not anymore, he wouldn't, because we screwed up his memory.
Okay. So now he'd probably be on Kerry Combs' level. Maybe.
Wow, nice. That was a good turnaround. I like that. I'm actually proud of you for that one.
So I agree with you that he is. All I'm saying is Kerry should have never had a number 1 defense in the country, but he shouldn't be this bad. That's what I'm saying. He gets a piece of the blame, and all I'm trying to give him is a piece of it. I'm not trying to say, Kerry, you should be number 1 and you're number 50. No, I'm saying, Kerry, you should be number 30 and you're number 50, 60, whatever it is.
Get some people in my mentions. We should be an elite defense.
Okay, no, not quite.
Yeah, well, we were saying that going into the season. This is not going to be an elite defense this year. I mean,
you said it. You said it as soon as like the Clemson game went final.
Well, it was just kind of like, guys, I mean, look where we're losing. You just don't lose all that NFL talent. And I'm talking top flight NFL talent. Jordan Philyor might have been drafted in the 6th round, but he's playing like a first or second round.
That's a steal. That's an absolute steal.
It just stole him on the second. The Rams are like, thank you. Jordan Philyor, I think, funny.
Hold on, I got to get this in.
Good.
How much would you have loved if the Packers would have got him in the 5th round, 6th round at a steal?
I wanted Devon Hamilton on Green Bay because we can't stop the run.
Right, but 6th round, Jordan Philyor?
I would have loved it, but Green Bay doesn't do crap like that. They do stupid crap.
I just had to get it in. I'm sorry.
No, I hear you. I wanted Devon Hamilton in the 3rd round. I was like, instead of a 4-string tight end, I wanted Devon Hamilton.
Or what about... What did they do the year before, Lori?
It took a defensive end that has 4 sacks in 28 games or whatever it is. And the funny part is I get Michigan fans saying, you just hate it because he's from Michigan. No, I would have loved Devin Bush, Chase Winovich, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I would have loved, Michael Onwenu. I would have loved these guys. Rashawn Gary as an outside linebacker, that ain't it. But that's neither here nor there. I will say this, though, but when people talk about these players and Kerry needs to bench this guy and bench that guy, that's my point for the freaking depth chart is like, what? What do you want him to do? Marcus Hooker, I think objectively, if we had another guy back there, I'd say, yeah, I guess. But I don't know for who. Ronnie Hickman, is he ready? Is Lathan Ransom ready? Are they even single high guys? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they were. Yeah, I didn't think they were supposed to be.
Ransom, I don't think is.
Ransom was supposed to be a strong safety, right?
He's more the Proctor, yeah. And then said, we'll try Proctor back there. Well, last time they did, he stunk.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what you do. That's my point with Kerry a little bit. It's like he's kind of stuck in some areas, It's like, it is what it is.
It's kind of like I said on the postgame, Corey, the Isaiah Prince effect.
Yeah.
Many of us say, well, gee, how bad's the backup? Got to be, because this guy doesn't look like he should be even playing on this team.
Yeah.
And maybe that's true. I kind of wonder if hindsight, man, you're telling me whoever was behind him was worse than him. I don't know about
Sometimes that. The Brandon White effect. Sometimes you wonder, but again, it's like the cornerback. Move Shaun Wade back to slot.
For who exactly? Like, now, if you could tell me, look, Tyreek Johnson. Well, now this is the argument I would make.
All right.
But I'm not saying I'm in this camp, but I could rationalize it.
Okay.
So Tyreek Johnson going to give up 3 touchdowns a game? Okay. So he's Shaun Wade. Okay. So I put Shaun Wade in the slot where he's really, really good. And guess what? Marcus Williamson isn't really, really good. So
he's pretty average.
Yeah. So guess what? Now I just made at least one area to feel better.
Williamson for Johnson at that point and wondering who's worse. I mean, honest to God, it's just lesser of two evils. That's what this whole defense is picking a lesser of two evils, unfortunately.
It really is. And it's almost like an experiment. And see, coaches will never do that because they will say, the chance of Tyreek going outside or Williamson going outside and being just as okay as Shaun and is worse than Shaun just getting better. The chance is actually best for Shaun just to get better.
When they see Shaun constantly on the guy and he's just not making the play, they got to give him some kind of
and then
hope.
Make a pick six and they're like, okay, there's a glimmer. There's a glimmer. Just please don't throw it. Don't put any air under the ball because then Shaun kind of falls on his face. Yeah, they put any air on the ball.
What they need to focus on is this is where I also blame Kerry. Okay, our blitz packaging needs to be much more efficient. It needs
when he finally dials it up, it works.
Exactly. We are not getting there with our front four. Realize that it's not happening. Zach Harrison is not Chase Young.
And then when I will say Penix. Part of this, right? We have to say Indiana's just a good team. Part of it's what they just do, right?
There's things we could do differently. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. But there's times Cooper was about to get home, Penix just got rid of it and such. Like I'm like, dang, that. Sometimes you just
Cooper
need to
did provide some pressure.
Yeah, I bet he graded really well, really well.
He's played well this year. I'm not going to rip on Cooper.
I think he's the
just
top rated. Yeah. Oh no way. And I think they did some things like we talked about. Sometimes they sunk some linebackers in coverage, clogged up the middle a little bit. Sometimes they didn't. I think, if you think the ball's going outside, linebackers aren't going to help when they're in coverage if the ball's outside. That's when you got to say, well, we just need to give them not very much time.
Yeah.
Just bring the heat. I agree with you there on the blitz packages.
Well, we were told that Browning was going to be a rush end of sorts. I don't ever see it.
Now he's last year's Pete Werner. Now he's playing out in space. He's out playing in space, which he's good at. Don't get me wrong. Now, we did bring him once. Once on the end, and it worked. The rush got home from the other side, I think. But
Browning is going to be this year's unsung hero on defense because
isn't he really good?
He's playing really well. I love Baron Brown. Pete Werner is playing really well. We'll say it again for everybody out. Listen, all in the back, all you in the back. We are going to desperately miss Browning and Werner when they're gone.
There's stuff Werner does. I think that you don't see the tight end lighting us up as much anymore. You don't see. Look, we're able to throw him out wide and Browning out wide. And Bale Warner, now you're going to miss that. It doesn't show up on a stat sheet. Tight end defended, right?
or Browning chasing down a wide receiver from behind, you know,
right? Or perimeter run stopped.
I want Green Bay to take Browning in the 3rd round. I really do, but they won't. They'll take like a 5th string offensive tackle or something.
They'll take Quiddy Pay.
That's fine. He's a good player.
yeah. In the 1st round, though.
Yeah, we'll trade up for him too.
They'll
trade Aaron Rodgers.
Well, they're like, look, if you
Jordan
give me
Love's
Aiden, they're like, if you give me Aiden Hutchinson and Quiddy Pay, we will give up Aaron. And what's your receiver? This name that's out of this world. The Green Bay's wide receiver out wide.
Oh, Devontae Adams.
Devontae.
Yeah, you know it's and then of course Green Bay Riders championship. You know, I swear Green Bay Riders. Whenever Rashawn Gary sets the edge on a run, oh, he's getting it. He's getting it, everybody.
All right. What do we do? What do we got to
ran on Green Bay Riders?
Yeah, I like it. What do we got to touch on anything? We're at 45 minutes.
We need Blake Heibel back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we should have 13 points in the second half. We had 7. 13 points a lot. Sounds. I don't know about you. I like that sound of that a lot more than 7.
I definitely like the. Well, of course, we could have had 7 if Justin Fields could hit Luke Farrell, but you know.
I get it. He was under pressure, but like,
come on,
that was
basically a handoff. You know?
You could have softball.
Oh, and he got targeted on that play. No call.
Oh man, he got hit.
Right in the head.
That is the textbook rule.
We're trying
to clean this up.
Yeah. But one of the star players of college football, I didn't see anything. Oh,
it's like got every criteria written and unwritten.
It's not what caused the game to be close. So don't get me wrong, but the officiating was piss poor. It just was bad.
It wasn't great. But yeah, you're right. It wasn't great. It wasn't an excuse. I'm glad you said that.
No, I'm not blaming that for the game being close. I mean, that's on us. But and Indiana's a good team, so I'm not. And Penix is a good player. Although I do maintain Penix is not that accurate. Because some of those passes the outside were way off, and I don't think he's that accurate. I just think our secondary made him look a little better than he is.
Well, he misses, but when he makes, he really makes it. You know.
No, I agree. He's not like terrible, but those out patterns. Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, he's not good at that. He's good at the down. He's good at that one thing, and we just couldn't.
He can hit the seams really well.
Yeah, the seam and the outside.
Well, if he throws a 50-50 ball, his receiver goes and gets it. That's not him. That's just, you know.
Well, he's got to put it there.
Yeah, but I mean, if the corner's right there, he needs to knock it down. But
well, that's what I'm saying. But they're doing it to everybody, and eventually he's in the back shoulder is really nice.
Everybody, well, they did to Michigan. Everybody's doing it to Michigan, though.
That's true. But at some point, you got. This is where you and I differ a little bit. At some point, I got to look and say, okay, it is you. You are doing it well.
I'm not saying he's terrible. That's my point. He's a good quarterback. He's probably the best Indiana quarterback. I can't even remember anybody as good as him. But I'm just saying when he's throwing.
Clear, yeah.
When he was throwing those out patterns, especially towards the end of the game, it was very apparent. Like, dude, you can't hit a simple comeback or out pattern.
He's not good at the intermediate stuff.
But we kind of said that he's not going to like methodically kill you.
No,
you know, like
he's going to be. He's going to. He did what we thought he would, but he did it even better. Like I remember you saying on the first show, the preview show, I don't see him doing anything that can't be stopped. Because we knew it was coming, and we thought we'll knock one of these down. We'll rotate a safety
Hooker
over.
Would be this bad.
Not one time did we have a safety rotate over on that deep ball.
He was always late. Like he was over there.
Time.
His brother, and I hate to say this because it's his brother, but his brother would get there before the ball got there. You know, it's like he's just like waiting on a punt, essentially. Like, oh, I'm here already. Oh, the ball's not here. Okay, well, whatever. You know. But Marcus is like that safety. He's like 2 steps late. You know, I was like, oh,
he's Johnson Wynn all over again.
Oh well, is anybody's better? No, he's no.
You know, I mean, you put him out there for long enough, you'll see.
Last year, I mean, or a couple years ago, Isaiah Pryor, Johnson Wynn was. It's reminding.
That's another thing, Corey. No, Isaiah Pryor, he was at least athletic.
Yeah, but he wasn't great. But he's gone. Yeah. So we just our depth at that position's hurting. So
it is. We lost so many. It was like 5 secondary players.
Secondary recruiting was miserable towards the end of Coombs when he was leaving. Tauber and Alex Grinch didn't care apparently, and then when the beginning of Hafley, where he had to pick up steam and you know,
and one of those guys just aren't old enough yet.
We weren't even like. We just went a good 3 years without really getting a ton of talent there. And right now, in a 2-year span, we had Ryan Watson, Legend Cavazos. That's one class, and you know, and then the year before we had nobody. and corner. And so it's like, again, we'll bench this guy, bench that guy. I don't. Linebacker, if you said that, we'd have some options.
And then the golden goose, the Cam Brown hurts himself really badly. And then was Tyreek Johnson 18?
17 and 18.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, there you go.
No, he wasn't 18. 18, we had no corners, not one.
Okay, so 17. That should be your golden goose. And it's not worked out yet. So
that was the Kerry Coombs guy, though. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the ranking was there, recruiting wise.
Yeah, he's a 5-star.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if it's that long sleeve T-shirt he wears underneath the jersey or what it is.
They're taking like 6 DBs in this next upcoming class. I mean, it's just like, guys, we need to rebuild that room. And by the way, I cannot wait for Jordan Hancock and J.K. Johnson to get on campus.
Yes. All right. I think that was pretty good. It was a fun show. Got our kind of the hangover out of our system.
We got some cool stuff coming up for you this week too, guys. I got to just let you know. So
should be a lot of fun. Don't worry.
Just because we didn't talk about Quinn Ewers doesn't mean we're not going to talk about him.
Yeah, Billy Ray's going to get his time on this show.
Dang right.
Yeah. His achy breaky heart. So, please, as always, we say like and subscribe, YouTube, comment, let us know what you think of the game. And also let us know what you think of the Kerry Coombs situation down in the comments here on YouTube. Also,
only if you agree with me.
And again, iTunes rating and review. Keep coming back, guys. You guys were a lot of fun this week. I will say the audience was better than the Buckeyes secondary this week. You guys were really, really good. You were a lot of fun interacting.
Cardboard cutouts, man. They were killing it in the stadium.
No, I'm talking about our audience.
I know,
our audience, our show listeners, our YouTube fans, whatever. You guys were awesome. The pre and post game show thing that you're going to see here on YouTube on Scarlet and Great Empire. Continue again to subscribe, and we'll give you good content. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Corey, as always. Goodbye. God bless, and go Bucks.